Testing, testing. This is Brother Head, aka General Head, aka Aaron Moss. And we are recording. I say we, I see should be me. I'm recording, I believe it's going to be Bravo Team number 11. This is an impromptu broadcast. So anyone that joins in or listens to this later, thank you very much for joining us. Glad to have you guys on board. I'm going to try to start doing these type of things more often with all my shows, do some live streaming and live broadcasting on YouTube. So bear with me as I get into this. So again, welcome to Bravo Team number 11, I believe. Again, I'm so far behind on things and trying to play catch up, but here I am. I guess I should have changed to a G.I. Joe shirt instead of my Adam shirt, but hey, it's the Adam. What do you want? So again, this morning, I'm recording this on October the 23rd at 1 o'clock p.m. California time. This morning at 8:05 a.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time, or wherever we're at, on the East Coast or West Coast, Hasbro Pulse on their site had their live stream showing their new and upcoming G.I. Joe products. I was able to get to that, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And I'm watching myself trying to make sure I'm adjusted. So let's go ahead and get started on this. So they talked about some classified figures and some, in quotes, retro figures, which we'll be getting to. So first, before I get into the actual meat of the show, a few complaints I had. In the chat, we had too many yahoos complaining about, not complaining, but they were trying to ruin the mood with their Go Brandon crap, which if you haven't paid attention is their way of saying F Biden. While I'm not a fan of Biden, during a G.I. Joe, talking about the toys and stuff, I think that's the wrong place for that. Also, too many Baldwin comments. Again, for those future people that may be watching this, recently, I think it was yesterday or the day before, Alec Baldwin was, I guess, producing or directing a movie. I don't know the details. My wife was telling me, but apparently he had a fake gun or something, and it accidentally went off and accidentally killed somebody on set. So that's what they're talking about. Again, things happen, but I think during the live stream on the Pulse, Hasbro Pulse was a little bit of out of place, but it is what it is. Enough about my complaining, I guess. Let's go ahead and move on to the actual, complaining about that. The other thing I was going to complain about, is there was too many people during the G.I. Joe portion asking for Marvel or Transformers or other sets, toys, whatever. I mean, each thing that Hasbro has had a different section. It was listed on their website. If you would have went, you would have seen when things are scheduled. You could have went there to complain or say what you wanted. I don't know, just going to a G.I. Joe or any, my nose, sorry, my allergies bother me today. Going to any, whatever you want, live stream for any one particular thing and then saying, well, where's Transformers or where's Star Wars or where's this or where's that? It's just annoying to me. Again, we're there to talk about G.I. Joe. Let's keep it focused on G.I. Joe. Yes, I don't mind personally if you complain about it because there's a lot to complain about. But we may get into some of that. So let's go ahead and start looking at the actual, what they talked about. The first one I kind of missed on and off. So I'm not sure if I think it's a classified figure the way they talked, but they're going to have some new bats coming out. I saw it briefly, but my wife and kids was getting ready to leave. My grandkids was in here, so I kind of missed part of that. But they are coming out with some new bats. They didn't have much information as far as when or price or anything. They say stay tuned for that. So maybe at some point we'll find out more about that. Before I go any further, for more on this, definitely check out, I think it's HasbroPulse.com. And as I've talked about on my webpage or my group, Facebook group, they do have a app for it now. So you can download the Hasbro Pulse app and see what they have. Now on to what you came here for. The first thing I'm going to go in order as they talked about it. So the first thing they brought up was the new Zartan. It was the con exclusive color changing card Zartan. It's supposed to go on sale as of, for members, 4 o'clock, for non-members, 5 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken, today. Again, this is Saturday. You're not going to hear this for another week, probably, or almost a week. So it's probably sold out by the time you hear this. If you're listening to the podcast, if you're listening to me now live, it's going to go on sale here in a couple hours. So you may want to watch for that. It looks awesome. They have several different masks for them. They had, I think it was a hard master, I think, maybe a soft master. They had a snake eyes mask. There's several masks that goes on them. And I guess this one here, when you put it in the cold, put it in the refrigerator, freezer, it changes to a blue color. So I thought that was very nice. I have the other classified Zartan out in Manland. Oh, it's in the garage right now. But yeah, I'm definitely looking at getting this one because it looked very nice. But yeah, Zartan, I love Zartan. I know over on my G.I. Joe, Real American Headcast, Brad's not a fan. Though I guess he is warming up to him, but yeah. But yeah, no, definitely. It's a very nice figure for Zartan. The other figures they showed for the classified line, there was a Tiger Force Outback. I'm a huge Outback fan ever since, well, right after I started reading the comic. Shortly thereafter, one of the big storylines was where Outback and Stalker and I think it was Quick Kick and somebody else got captured, and Outback was able to escape and made back to the Joe base by himself. Ever since then, I thought he was a neat character. I liked Outback. This is a Tiger Force Outback, so he's got the Tiger Force colors. I would rather have had, especially for the first outing for the classified, I'd rather had the regular looking Outback. I'm not a huge fan of the Tiger Force, Python Patrol, all these offshoots. Sorry, my door's ringing. Give me just 1 minute. Sorry about that, guys. For everyone that's listening, give me just one or watching 1 minute. Dog's going nuts. Dog out. Shoot. Shut up. Quick. Move. Okay, I'm back. And if you're listening to this on the actual podcast, you won't hear any of this. I'm going to cut all this out, hopefully. My middle son that lives at home got a package in the mail, so that was that. Anyway, so where was I? Outback. I love Outback. I don't care for the Tiger Force version. It's still neat looking, and if I had the extra money, I'd get it. In fact, down the line, I may still get it if I can. Also, this Outback, I'm not sure when it started, but they've been doing Outback with gray hair. It's part of my conspiracy theorist mind. Not that a big one, but conspiracy theorist. But it seems like Hollywood and media is trying to get rid of all redheads. So they ditched Outback's red hair and they gave him white hair. I'd rather seen Outback, the red beard and hair and stuff, but a nice looking figure. Other than, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the Tiger Force color scheme, and I don't care for the white hair, gray hair, whatever it is. But Outback is a great character. He came into the comics about the same time that I actually started reading them, so he's got a special place in my heart. Plus, like I said, that storyline where he had to escape the other country, I forget what it was called now, and had to deal with the Joes that he came back to, like, you left behind Stalker and others, some hero you are, and dealing with all that. I thought that was a great storyline. So that kind of cemented to me Outback as a great character. So I love seeing Outback get a classified figure. I just wish it was more of a classic Outback look, personally. But again, that's me. Moving on from Outback, there was the Python Patrol Vipers. Again, I love the Vipers. As far as Cobra foot soldiers, I think it goes Vipers, Crimson Guard, and then down from there. So the Vipers are my favorite of the Cobra soldiers or foot soldiers. But again, I'm not a huge fan of the whole Viper Patrol or Python Patrol. Python Patrol. It's a neat looking figure. It's got the black and yellow. It's came from when they did the Python Patrol fig toys. That was when I started to get out of the toys. They didn't do a whole lot within the comic. The cartoon, they did that. I forget the name of it. It was the 3 or 5 parts of the Dick series. And then that was the last I saw of G.I. Joe. So I didn't really get much into the Python Patrol. The Vipers, I love them. So again, it all comes down to money. If I had the extra money, I would get it definitely because I love the Viper so much. But seeing how I'm tight on money right now, I'll probably skip it for right now. But it's a nice figure. Other than, like I said, the coloring. But that's, speaking of bats, speaking of Python Patrol, they had a Python Patrol bat. Again, I love the bats. The Python Patrol, as I just talked about, not so much. This is another one. If I had the extra money, I would definitely get it because I love bats. But again, it's got that odd, to me anyways, color scheme for the Python Patrol. I know when the gal was talking about it, she was saying, oh, yellow, I'm supposed to make you camouflage. It was the 80s. What do you want? If I remember right, it wasn't that the yellow made you camouflage. It was a special technology that they got from Darklon, I believe it was, that somehow it made them invisible. It wasn't just the color yellow, which kind of annoyed me when she said that. But again, that's because I'm an old school comic geek and people annoy me. But but yeah, no, it's a Python Patrol bat. So I love the bat portion, not so much for the Python Patrol, but again, definitely I think if you have the money, it's worth getting. Yes, sir. Hi. Sorry that, as I said, my grandkids, my middle son's girlfriend's kids are home, so I'm watching them. So ignore any noise you may hear in the background. Let me see. They also announced that there's more Tiger Force and Python Patrol coming. As I have my notes here, try that again. They announced that they have more Python Patrol and Tiger Force figures coming in the future. As I've got my notes here, and as you probably can tell from my thoughts so far, I'm not too impressed with the Python Patrol and the Tiger Force, but we'll see what they have. I don't know. Next, after that, they had Taboo of the Black Eyed Peas come on, and he showed off Spirit. Apparently, Taboo is Native American or whatever their phrase is this week for the woke crowd. But the Spirit figure looked very nice. Came with Freedom, of course. Yeah. Freedom has wings. The one they showed, the wings are, next to his body. He's perched on Spirits, but they all have removable wings, and you can put on a outstretched wingspan also. So you have him flying or perched on Spirit. And there's a spot on his arm, I believe, so there's a peg you can pet him, or on the shoulder, something like that. Again, very nice figure. I definitely want Spirit and Freedom. That's a nice set. It looks very much like Spirits from the old toys, the cartoon, the comic. Sorry, I had hiccup. It looks like the old Spirit from the comic book, the cartoon, the toys. So I definitely, again, I'm low on funds right now. So as soon as I can, I do want to get the Spirit figure. Again, my only problem is that later on, there's another animal that they're going to bring out, and they kept mentioning this animal's name, but they never mentioned Freedom. And I'll talk about more of that later, I guess. But Freedom, I don't think got enough love, as much love as he should have. So after that, they showed a Storm Shadow figure. He has a removable hood. I think I've got one Storm Shadow figure already for the classified. I'll probably get this one. It looks nice. It's a very classic looking, very, very sweet looking Storm Shadow. Definitely recommend it. Like I see, got the nice accessories, the bow and everything. And like I say, it has a removable hood, so you can put the hood on, or not the mask, but just like an extra hood that goes over to, as he would wear sometimes. But that was a very nice figure. I definitely liked the Storm Shadow figure. And sorry, it's been 15 minutes. I'm already like halfway through what they've talked about, I think. Wish I could have got some other people on here, but as I said, it was a very last minute. You know what? I ought to talk about this and release that for a Bravo team, since I haven't recorded one for this month yet. But and again, I tend to talk a little quicker, especially when I'm by myself. So I apologize for that. But moving on. So let me see. So far we've had something with the bats, the Zartan color changing figure, the Tiger Force Outback, Python Patrol Viper, Python Patrol Bat, Spirits, and Storm Shadow. And then I had my note in here about too many conservatives ruining the mood with their whole Go Brandon junk and other things. Moving on, the next figure they showed was from Croc Master and his Croc. And I did not notate the name of the Croc. But that's the one that the host, she ruined it ahead of time by saying, I think like Juliet, or I forget the name of the Croc now, but she was like, well, I really like, because they're asking which figures they like the best. And she said, oh, I like this one here. And they're like, well, you haven't introduced that one. Oh, yeah, we have. No, we haven't. So then they introduced Croc Master. Comes with a Croc, comes with a couple little baby Crocs. And the Croc that it comes with, the big Croc, it's a huge, I can say like 12 inches long. The tail can move. It's got like a wire type thing where you can move the tail. The mouth is articulated so you can open and close it, move the mouth. It's, again, Croc Master came along later, sort of. It was closer to the end of my run with. So I only was in toys as far as buying for a couple of years, but it was a later run before they started doing all these repaints. Croc Master was a nice figure, and this classified figure looks awesome. I thought it looked very nice. Definitely this one here, if I was to list them so far, in fact, this was the last. I'm just looking here real quick at my notes. Yeah, this was the last classified figure they showed. So out of the ones they showed today, the order I would buy them if I had to, so much I could start buying them, I would get the Zartan with the color changing first. I'd have to look more at the regular bat they first talked about. But then I would probably get the Spirits, maybe Croc Master, and then Storm Shadow, and then probably Tiger Force Outback, Python Patrol Viper, and the Python Patrol Bat. Again, all said, they were all nice figures. I'm just not a fan of the Python Patrol and the Tiger Force because those are, I consider kind of, and I think a lot of people do, are considered repaints. They're not the actual figures. They're the figures with a special coat of paint or whatever on them. Give me just 1 second. Listen, there's taco meat in the refrigerator. There's a little bit left. There's some chili in there if you want to warm some chili and fix it all up and make some tacos. Okay. Your box. Keep free. I'm recording, but I'm by myself as usual. But I just came for you. I think it's dead body. How's it going? Huh? Oh. So as my middle son, Steven, come home for lunch. So I'd give him his box. See how he's doing. Anyway, so back to the show. Again, if you're listening to this on the Bravo team, you probably won't hear any of this. I'll remove all this. But for those that are watching, it's right now, it's nobody. If you guys join later on and see, you can watch me talk to my son. You don't see him, but anyways. So anyways, those are the classified figures that they talked about during today's Hasbro's Pulse Con, or whatever it's called. I forget the name of it right offhand, but again, all very nice figures. Other than part of them being repaints, I like them all. If I had the money, I'd definitely buy them all. But let's go ahead and move on. We're not quite done yet. A few more things they talked about. Retro figures, or they actually kind of said something different besides, they said retro and then they called them something else. But it's the retro line basically. That's, I guess I don't know if they're changing it or this is an addition to the retro line that we're getting. But they introduced two new figures. Well, both of these figures have been out already. I posted a link to them, I think, our picture of them on my Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/GI Joe. I posted a picture of them. It's a 2-pack. It is a Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. It's a box set. What's so special about Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow? Well, about this set anyways, besides the obvious. Apparently, two things. One that they mentioned and one that I saw. So I don't know if the second one's true or not, but if it was just... Anyways, the first thing is they are going back, at least for now, to the O-ring design. Yes, these are Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow O-ring figures. And they look to me what I could see very much like the classic Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes figures. So I think those were very good. So yes, they're back to the O-rings for right now, at least. It's a Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes box sets. And the box I noticed said G.I. Joe, a real American hero, which pleased me to no end. If you want a retro series, I'm doing finger quotes for those that's listening. If you want a retro series figure, you need to have a real American hero on the box, in my opinion. I'm just an old white guy. What do I know? But yeah, I love seeing on the box. And again, I've got that on the G.I. Joe Facebook group. I think I posted on Instagram, or no, Twitter. Again, all these different things I get confused on at times. I posted it on, I think I posted it on Twitter. So definitely check them out. Very nice looking. Again, that's one I definitely want to get. So I also posted a picture of her on G.I. Joe Barracks because someone asking about it. And I'm looking at it right now. Picture's a little small, but yeah, it's got a very nice box art. And speaking of box art, I forgot to mention on the Zartan one, apparently on the Zartan classified figure I mentioned earlier, the box is a very nice box art, and the head of Zartan can move, and you can like one of those wheels in there. You can show different heads. So I thought that was very nice. I forgot about that. I forgot to make a note about that, but that was also nice. But yeah, so you got the Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, the retro figures. I don't know exactly what they're calling them. The box art says a real American hero on it. Made me happy. I was pleased to see both of these. Depending on the price and how long I can get, how long they're available for, I may try to get one because again, it looks awesome. In fact, that looks like one of those that I may need two sets for, one to keep in the box pristine and one to pull out and play with, but that's me. And apparently they're not quite the same. They've upgraded the material a little bit to make it a little more sturdy. It's a better O-ring apparently, but we'll see. And hopefully if it works well, they will revert the rest of the retro line to be O-rings and to include a real American hero. Because to me, it's not really retro without those. They're kind of retro figures, retro box art, but it's not a retro figure, in my opinion. Finally, the last thing they talked about, they have, I guess, Hasbro has their own Kickstarter thing. I'm doing in air quotes. It's they call it the Hasbro Lab or something like that. They've done a Unicron, which I've looked at. Oh, sweet. And some other ones. I think they did the Rancor, something for Star Wars. But for G.I. Joe, they have on this Hasbro Labs, the Sky Striker. Yeah, so apparently it's going to be $229. But again, it's like Kickstarter. They have to have so many people to do it before they produce it. And the more people that join up, the more that it comes with. So I say for the Sky Striker, you get Ace and you finally get a co-pilot for him. You get a fuel tank and some other accessories. Looks very nice. I don't know if it's worth $229. Maybe all said and done, everything I'm going to get through, maybe, but just as is, it's very nice. It looks like it's for the regular 3 1/4 inch figures or 4-inch figures, wherever they are. $229 seems a little pricey to me. A lot of people here in the chat were saying, it needs to be classified. Honestly, if they did a classified Sky Striker, one to be so huge for these figures, they could do it. It'd be nice, but you're probably talking about, if this is $229, you've got a figure for a classified Sky Striker. It's going to be a good $500-$600. And I know a lot of people, I guess, have that kind of spending money. I don't. So I guess it doesn't matter to me if they did it or not, because I wouldn't be able to afford it right now. But the Sky Striker did look nice. So like I said, it came with the Sky Striker. It came with some other assembly stuff. The stickers came with Ace and the co-pilots. And then they had some, I'll call them upgrades if they sold enough or if they get enough pre-orders for them. So at the first but the first point of number of sales or whatever you want to call it, it comes with a flight suit Scarlet. They said there was a gray model they had, but they said it's going to be in the blue suits. It's going to be a Scarlet figure. That looks very nice. Then the next tier is the Night Force Ripcord. Again, I'd rather had a regular Ripcord myself, but Ripcord, hey, in the comics, which were on my regular show, we're getting into his his story. He had an arc within the G.I. Joe story. We're getting into that whole mess. So yeah, Ripcord, he's a nice figure. And then the top tier, they sell enough. I think it was like 100,000, or I forget the exact numbers. It comes with 2 additional pit crew figures, or flight crew figures, whatever you want to call them. They come with like little glow stick ones that to wave down the planes. It's very nice. So again, for the plane and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 actual figures, $229 is not too bad, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I usually am, but yeah, I think $229 buy just this plane, for just the plane and pilot or ace and the co-pilot. I think it's a little pricey. If they make enough or get enough orders to get it up to the high end where they get not only the plane and, like I said, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 figures, that's actually not too bad, because you're paying $20 a figure, 20, 40, 60, 80, 20, 40, 60, 80, another 10, 12. So that's like $60, say about $80 for figures. So the plane itself's only going to be approximately, if you cut everything down, $139 or so, which is still a little pricey, but not too awful bad. My head's bobbing and weaving. It's still a little on the pricey side, but not too bad. And real quick, over in the chat, we have Chad Zola. Hey, Chad, thanks for joining us. Chad says, glad to see they're doing O-ring figures. You and me both, buddy. I definitely, like I said, when I was watching, I'm like, my mouth opened up, like, O-ring. Oh my God. Oh, yes. And I saw on the packaging, I saw a Real American Hero. That made me happy. So I'm definitely interested. And I hope when they go change or move the retro line over to all the O-rings, because yeah, like you, I'm enjoying that. Did you watch the if you're watching this, Chad, did you watch the Hasbro Pulse, and was there anything else you liked on there? Was there, what did you really like? In fact, I might type in the chat also. What would you really like on the live stream? Whoops. Makes for great podcasting, but hey, I'm interacting. So Chad, what else did you like on the live stream if you watched it? I want to wait and see if Chad responds to that. Oh, there he is. Chad said he watched some of it. He was busy at work, so caught what he could when he could. I understand. Luckily, I'm off today. I'm off on Saturday, so I was able to catch the whole thing. Chad said he loved the bat. Which bat was that? Was that the first bat they talked about briefly, or are you talking about the Python Patrol bat? Personally, I love as I said earlier, I love the bats myself. They were great figures. I love just and again, the bats I wish was sold at a lower price point so you could buy more of them to make an army building with them. But it is what it is. It's they're to make some money. But what I'm seeing Chad anything else to say, I just do a brief recap of what we talked about. So again, there's that first bat, which I only caught a little bit of. There's the color changing Zartan with multiple masks. Love that. There was the Tiger Force Outback, Python Patrol Viper, Python Patrol Bat, the Spirit figure, Storm Shadow, Croc Master in his Croc. And going back to Chad real quick, he said the basic old school black and yellow. Yeah, I like the basic bat myself also. That's very nice. But also in the show, they were talking about how they were trying to go back to the Storm Shadow Spirit rivalry from the 80s. Again, it really shows they don't know what they're talking about so much, because in the TV show, yes, it was a Storm Shadow / Spirit rivalry, because I don't think the show knew how to handle Snake Eyes. So they kind of short shifted Snake Eyes, in my opinion. They gave his enemy to Spirit and his girl to Duke. But in the comics, and again, I started the TV shows I've talked about. I watched the cartoon first and then got into the comic. But to me, the comic is what is number one, because again, as we've talked about, Larry did such a great job on doing the backstory and making you feel for these people. In the comics, it was always a Snake Eyes Storm Shadow thing. So I don't like the fact that she said that, kind of a classic Storm Shadow Spirit, back to that. it was just two different medias focused on two different ways. So, but that was for the classified figures. I'm getting off track a little bit. And then they had the retro figures of the Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes two-pack. Looked like a box set that was O-ring. They're back to saying a real American hero, it looks like. And then for the Hasbro Lab, which was their give us money, we'll make this, is the Sky Striker. Again, comes with Ace and the co-pilot, and possibly Scarlet, Ripcord, and 2 pit crew figures. Also during the show, they had to kill some time, so they had what's his name, Taboo, do some rapping about Native American pride, and they did some behind the scenes stuff from the Snake Eyes movie. Again, not being a fan of Snake Eyes movie, I kind of only glossed over that. They did show a scene with Storm Shadow fighting some guys. That was a very nice scene because I enjoyed Storm Shadow in that. But again, they focused a little on this movie, which Chad says silent character animation was hard for Sumbo, so they sidelined Snake Eyes a lot. Yeah, like I said, they just didn't know what to do with the silent character. Though it seems like it would have been easier in animation because you can move his hands or whatever than in comics. But Larry, again, he's a master and he made it work really well. So, and again, I originally started for the first couple of years. The cartoon is what I knew about. So I originally thought that Duke and Scarlet was together and Spirit and Storm Shadow were enemies. And I read the comic, I'm like, oh, this is so much better. This is great. But that's what they've talked about at the Hasbro Pulse. Like I've said, download the Hasbro Pulse app for your phone. You can watch the stuff through there. You can keep track of what they got coming out. And if you're watching this live stream, again, at 4, if you remember, 5:00 p.m., they're going to release for pre-order or for sale the new figures. So definitely check that out. If you're watching or listening to this on the Bravo Team episode, it should come out this next week. If I get my ducks in order, it may be too late to catch any of it because it may already be gone because of stupid scalpers. But I don't have a lot more to say on this episode. Again, if I could have had some guys on here with me, it would have been a little longer because I got some more opinions and some more thoughts. But since it's just me, me and Chad, thanks a lot for joining us, Chad. I appreciate you joining us on the chat and on the YouTube. Really appreciate that and enjoyed hearing from you. I guess that's going to do it for this episode. Like I said, it's only about half hour long. It'll probably be shorter than that once I edit out my son coming home and the mail being delivered and all that. But thank you guys very much. If you guys are free tomorrow, join us at the same time, 1:00 Pacific time, where me and Jared and possibly Weasel Skull and maybe, knock on wood, a special guest will be talking about episode 39 of the comic. Sorry, issue 39 of the comic, and the episode entitled The Games Master of the cartoon. We're recording that live. Again, that's going to be episode 39 of G.I. Joe, a Real American Headcast, and that should be out the second Tuesday of November. You can join us here, just like Chad did. And which are exclusives? You know what? They didn't mention anything about exclusivity that I caught, unless I missed it. They didn't say which one, if any were going to be at Targets. They didn't say anything. I'm trying to think real quick. Actually, no. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. They did. I forgot to notate that. Very bad host. I forgot which ones. I know they did mention. Shoot, again, I was getting distracted. People talked to me during the showing. But yeah, they did mention a couple words for Target, and Hasbro was that maybe on the chat. I got confused on that. Sorry about that, Chad. And again, Chad said, always loves my stuff. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you, Chad. Definitely great hearing from you. But I guess that's going to do it for this episode. From me, the entire G.I. Joe, a Real American Headcast crew, and from Chad Zola, we will talk to you. I say tomorrow we're recording again, and I'm going to try to do these more often. If you have something you'd like to see me talk about or hear me talk about on the Bravo team, definitely let me know. The next one I plan on doing, I've been planning on doing this for a while now, though. We're going to talk the figures, the classified line, the retro line. I just talked to the new stuff. We're going to talk about it all together here soon. Maybe next episode, hopefully. Give me your thoughts on that. Like I say, you can join us over on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/group/GI Joe. It's the website's try that again. The website is headcastnetwork.com. You can check it out there or on any of your favorite podcatchers. But I guess that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys very much. And a special thanks to you, Chad, for joining us. Until next time, Yo Joe. Thank you. Oops, and I can't type. Thank you very much, Chad. So I guess that's going to do it. I'm done with the podcast. And then you say at this point, it's going to be edited out. So bibby bobbity boo. And yeah, sorry, Chad. I did not notate which ones are going to be. Oh, okay. We have that's why you got Chad. Okay. I should have recognized. I should have realized that. I just checked my Facebook and saw your message over there. But yeah, thanks for joining me, Chad. And like I say, if you're free tomorrow, I'll join it at the same time, 1:00 Pacific time. And Jared will be here. He may get his brother Weasel Skull to join us. And I'm trying to get a special guest. He said he would come on, but I haven't heard from him recently. So we'll see what happens. And I'm going to sign out of here. And I will be back over on Facebook if you want to say anything. Thanks, buddy. And